Oh yeah, Curtis Sliwa has some choice words for Bill Ackman.
Ackman is a jerk. Has he been right yet? Here's a guy who goes up to Newport, Rhode Island and thinks he's a professional tennis player. Come on, Ackman, stay in your lane. Does he know anything about politics? No. Does he live in New York City? No. He lives in Chapakua, the whitest suburb of America, where even the lawn jockeys are white. Ackman is a jerk.
Give me the longer one. I don't like that he took the hat off, by the way. I think it's ridiculous. Okay? Do you know what a lawn jockey is? No. I do not know what that is. I assume it's some like old racial thing.
Donnie.
Is it? I don't know. I mean, it's Curtis Sliwa, so I suspect it's got to be something racial, you know? Because like all jokes aside, you know, aside from the jokes about Curtis Sliwa being like the only appropriate Republican and whatnot, like I think a lot of people don't realize, and I don't even know about the lawn jockey thing. Maybe it's racist, maybe it's not. I don't know. But like Curtis Sliwa is his claim to fame is having a paramilitary group that enacts vigilante justice on black and brown people in the subways and stuff. Like at the heat of at the peak of like crime in New York. And to be fair, it was really crazy back then. Okay. From what I understand, New York crime was completely out of control. Okay. I've seen the movies and I've seen the data. Even then, it's wild that he just like set up a paramilitary organization called the Guardian Angels. That's why he wears the beret. And their entire job was like they were a gang. They were a gang that would just beat the out of people. Okay. A lawn jockey is basically a lawn gnome, but in blackface. Oh my God. Okay. That's a culturally appropriate. I mean, I get what he's saying though. It's not like he's just saying that like even the lawn jockeys are white. That's how white the neighborhood is.
However, I think it is clear to New Yorkers who are against Mamdani that you and Cuomo are splitting the anti-Mamdani vote. So my question is simple. Are you okay if Mamdani wins that you, so to speak, contributed to that?
Well, number one, Ackman is a jerk. Has he been right yet? Here's a guy who goes up to Newport, Rhode Island and thinks he's a professional tennis player. Come on, Ackman, stay in your lane. Does he know anything about politics? No. Does he live in New York City? No. He lives in Chapakua, the whitest suburb of America, where even the lawn jockeys are white. He may know Wall Street. He may know hedge funds. He has been wrong every step of the way with the billionaires. So let's say people come to the conclusion, if somehow I lose, and we know Andrew Cuomo's lost, he's already tossed in the town. Oh, it's because of you, Curtis. Really? It's because of the Democrats. Wait a second. Who created Zohan Mamdani? Who embraced him? Who nourished him? Who supported him? And how dare you, people who know nothing about politics, suggest that everybody who's going to vote for me is suddenly going to be reborn? We love Andrew Cuomo. He killed all these elderly. He's a sexual harasser. He told conservatives and Republicans in 2014,
we need more Curtis Sliwa style characters on the left. It's just that given how the Democratic Party operates, they would never allow Curtis Sliwa to be like a consistent hitter on the left. Because I think Curtis Sliwa of the left would win. I'm not even kidding. I think if he wasn't a Republican and if he actually had this same aura, same energy, but for like leftist principles, he would be winning every election. Like instead of substitute like his completely distorted worldview on how to tackle crime with like, I don't know, wanting to build soup kitchens or some shit. And boom, you have a guy who's going to win every election. Okay. Same charisma, same quirkiness, same like weirdo behavior, running around with a beret all the goddamn time. You got Jesse Ventura.
You're conservative and you believe in right to life and the Second Amendment. You have no place in New York. You need to leave. This is the result of the Democrat self-destruction. So I'm supposed to help them? How come they don't help themselves? Andrew Cuomo failed everybody in that primary. He even admitted it. Now he's basically saying, I can't win without Sliwa votes. Where are your votes? Why don't you spend your money? And he's got millions from the billionaires. Millions. Go out, get your own votes. Convert Sliwa voters. But for me to drop out, I represent a major party line. I have people running under me, council people, judges. They put their heart and soul into it. They support me. I have more donations than Andrew Cuomo does matching funds. So you know something? This is called voting. Since when do we not let people vote? Billionaires determine the next mayor?
God, he's so awesome. It's just like he's so dope. It's so funny. I was thinking if the people on the right hated billionaires as much as Sliwa, the USA would be better. I mean, his platform is still servile to the billionaires, okay? Make no mistake. Oh, yeah, you want to hear how he got shot?
Plot.
Here's him on Big Think.
He stole a yellow cab late at night, sawed the handles off on the inside, and turned it into a rolling coffin, and assumed that on one of those mornings I would pick their cab, which had their wheelman, a Gambino guy named Angelo Dundee Bundini Brown or something along those lines, and the shooter, Michael Iannotti. And they would go round and round the block. And Joey D'Angelo looked like a cab driver, and Michael Iannotti was a killer extraordinaire because he was an executioner. And on the sixth day that they went round and round, bingo, lotto day for them, I picked their cab. I jumped in the back, told them, Madison Square Garden, hurry up, Mac. He said, no problem, Sliwa. And I thought, wow, an English-speaking cab driver, a guy who knows where he's going. Man, this is my day. I can max and relax, read the newspapers, prepare for the broadcast. Halfway there, instead of turning left and going west, he turns right to Gabon and goes east. And I said, hey, Mac, turn this hack around. And all of a sudden, he was putting the pedal to the metal, and I could hear the transmission grinding. And I said, I don't think he's taking this to AMCO for a transmission fix. And I said, hey, Mac, I told you, turn this hack around. And then lickety-split, within seconds, all of a sudden, some gorilla pops up in front of me who had been stuffed under the dashboard. He's popping a 38 right down at my three-piece set, my lower extremities, not the knife, spoon, and fork. And all of a sudden, he says, take this, you son of a bitch, boom, and he fires. And I could see the fire leave the barrel of the gun. Didn't feel anything, and never been shot before, so assumed, wow, this is just a bad dream or a misfire. And by the time I could come to my senses, as my heart was beeping, and I felt like Robbie Robot and Lost in Space, you know, danger, Mr. Robinson, danger, he raises the gun, fires a second time, and now I feel it, the cramping, the blood is spewing. All of a sudden, I'm in a panic, and I immediately dive for the door, figure I'll dive into oncoming traffic, risk becoming a speed bump, and they knew I would do that, and as I reached for the handle, and pulled to yank it open, it came off from my hand, and pow, a third shot right through my legs like a hot knife through butter. I've now been shot 3 times. I'm bleeding like a sieve. I'm stuffed beneath the driver, trying to avoid the headshots. I'm fighting the gun off so he can't pop 2. This off so he can't pop 2 in the back of my head. And then all of a sudden I pick up my Guardian Angel walkie-talkie. I say, Angel 1, code red, Angel 1. And they start blabbering away. And it distracts the driver, Joey D'Angelo, who thinks maybe it's NYPD 5-0. So he drives on the sidewalk. He drives back onto the street. He makes a radical turn going south towards the Williamsburg Bridge. And I feel a gust of wind. And I said, feet don't fail me now. I got precious little energy, so I used the cushion in the back to see, as if it were a trampoline, dived in the direction of what I felt was an open window because I felt the gust of wind. Luckily, they had opened the window just moments before they had picked me up because the air conditioner wasn't working. Lucky that the AC wasn't working. I made it halfway out the window. The gunman panics. He realizes, oh my God, he's out the window. So he pulls me up by my belt. He puts the gun in my back. The driver at the same time crashes me into parked cars. I smash me like sardines, nut to butt. They pump that final bullet in the back, push me out, and figure I'm dead on arrival and I'm sucking concrete. Next thing you know, they scrape me up off the asphalt, put me in the gurney, put me in the meat wagon, throw me on the emergency route of Bellevue, and they start cutting and chopping. And an hour and a half, well, actually hours later, days later, I wake up in intensive care with every tube and every orifice of my body, the bells and whistles. I wake up slowly. I see that first face that indicates to me that I'm alive, I'm not dead, and it's Ed Koch, my former nemesis, the former mayor of the city.
Ed Koch, my former nemesis. Bro. Oh, yeah. This is when his origin story. He got invited to the White House after he saved people from a burning building while on a route as a paper boy. And this is where he met Richard Nixon.
of New York who thought I was a hemorrhoid in a red beret, and I thought I had died and gone straight to hell without an asbestos suit. When I came to my senses, I realized I was alive. I took a licking and came back ticking, and let's face it, wasn't my martial arts skill that saved the day or my street smarts. It was the man upstairs who decided I wasn't ready to be punching on the time clock yet and going out feet first.
It's amazing. That is a real story, by the way. I mean, I'm sure he's like embellishing a little bit, but he did get shot in the back of a cab 4 times, which he brought up in the debate, if you recall. He's like, well, you know, I don't get in the yellow cabs no more because in 1989, I got shot 4 times in the back of the cab car. Bada bing. What is this? My mom told me she loves Sliwa because when she was in the subways during the 70s or whatever, she felt safer and knew Sliwa. She's still loving Zoran though, but still talks highly on Sliwa since she knows him, sorta. Yeah, I mean, it makes sense. He is a character, but it's real. That's a real story that happened to him. It's so strange because, like, once again, his aura, his riz is like, if this was a race between Andrew Cuomo and Sliwa, I think, and I lived in New York, I might have voted for Curtis Sliwa. I think Curtis Sliwa would be able to defeat Andrew Cuomo. Like, I'm not even kidding. I think this would have been Curtis Sliwa's moment. After like 11 failed mayoral runs, because he is the man. He is consistently the guy who is on the Republican ticket in the New York mayoral race. Moderator, what's your bagel order? Curtis Sliwa, well, as you know, I was poisoned in Zabaz in 1984. I found an antidote in a tunnel under the subway, which I still use every day. Thank you for proving you are white. I mean, when you listen to what he was talking about, there were moments where he was coming across more left-wing than Andrew Cuomo was. But yeah, this is also obviously a very real point. It's very funny and charming to me how Curtis and Zoran both seem to unironically like each other because of a sense of shared hatred of Cuomo. But also, they like one another. They also like one another because they both have like respect for one another as New Yorkers. Okay? Like, Curtis Sliwa is a New York icon. I have covered him many times on this broadcast, famously when he did a hate crime on Sean Hannity, if you remember. Curtis Sliwa and his goons did a hate crime on the Sean Hannity broadcast. It sounds insane, but when you get to know Curtis Sliwa a little bit more, you start to realize perhaps that did really happen. And it did, live on Fox News on the Sean Hannity broadcast. Sean Hannity was interviewing Curtis Sliwa about the dangers of migrants in New York City streets. And Curtis Sliwa and his goons were on Times Square, in the middle of Times Square. And they saw a random dude who happened to look Mexican. Okay? And they immediately started pouncing on random dude. Sean Hannity, at the directive of Curtis Sliwa, turned the camera around to capture this hate crime in action. Okay? The only thing that took place was that Curtis Sliwa identified a brown person and they tackled him as a migrant shoplifter. Okay? They were like, "Oh, get his ass. He's a migrant shoplifter. Can you pan the camera over here? So you hear this? Look.
Like the camera over there,
Look.
Migrants in New York City when suddenly this happened.
Guys have just taken down one of the migrant guys right here on the corner, 42nd and 7th. While all this
can you
is
pan the camera?
Sean Hannity goes, "Can you pan the camera?"
Taken over. They've taken over. Like the camera over there, if at all possible.
Yep. Oh, you got your key open, guys.
It's out of control. Out of control.
So,
yeah, one problem. He was neither a migrant nor a shoplifter. Just a random guy. You see the problem with vigilante justice? So that's the guy. That's who Curtis Sliwa is. And he has seemingly been able to get away with doing this for years. Okay? That is what's so crazy about this, is that, like, he just gets to beat the out of people. Okay? He just gets to beat the out of people I'm taking your dog, bro. Good luck. Good luck, bitch. You could be taking something else if you show up to where I'm at. Dumbass. Anyway. Curtis Lee was also a very interesting guy because he has, I believe, 7 cats. Just a crazy dude. People say 17. No, I think Chi was making that up. I don't think Chi is right about that. In 2021, news outlets reported the GOP candidate for mayor in New York City, Curtis Sliwa, also this year's nominee, lives with 60. Oh my God, it is 16 cats in a studio apartment. He's on the record that he would turn Gracie Mansion into a cat sanctuary, saying it could easily house over 60 cats. It turns out that's the reason why he wants to be mayor. Oh God, I shouldn't have shown this to the cat people in the chat. They're not normal. When they see cat mentioned, they lose their mind. When they see cat mentioned, they go, oh, that's just as insane. He's the right kind of insane for me. Okay. Can you imagine the smell of 16 cats in a 1-bedroom apartment? Oh my Lord, dude. I don't even want to think about that shit. Anyway, maybe Zoran should make him the rat czar when he's mayor. All right.